Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer RANT. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon. And I'm hoping everyone is having a great 2021 so far. Yeah, I know last year was pretty damn crazy, which it was. So anyway, this is going to be a long video. So I appreciate anybody that's actually sticking through this. Which, yes, I know, making a video quite this length can be, I guess, discouraging in some ways because it's long. But for anyone that actually sticks around this long, I really do appreciate it, of course, folks. I appreciate anybody for sticking around for this long. So, yeah. And it's gonna be a rant video. And okay, that's pretty obvious. I know I've done a lot of videos of me just complaining about something, just ranting something, of course. And I've done it over the years, of course, but I know in recent time I've excessively done a lot more rant videos. And if anything, it's out more frustration. It really, at Hollywood. I guess more specifically, some of the directors, I guess. Because this is kind of like a subject matter I've spoke about before. And in some ways, I'm kind of annoyed. Okay, not kind of. Let me rephrase that. I'm really annoyed at the fact that they they just keep rehashing on what we're already familiar with. We're already rehashing, just keep recycling the same stories over and over and over and over and over again. And just to be clear, folks, so that nobody would take what I'm saying out of context, even though probably some people would do that anyway, but I'm gonna say it. At least I said it, okay? But this video is by no means a stab towards strong women. And this is about also this film review, this movie review, rant, or whatever you call it. It's also not a stab towards Chinese culture. If you want to have a film focusing on a specific culture, that's fine. And that's great. I have nothing against that. And I'm not saying the movie needs to have that to make a good movie. It really depends on the context of the film. To answer, does it really have to be about cultures? It depends what you're going for. And also, it doesn't bother me that there's a strong female lead in the movie as well. Even though that kind of goes against it because there's this whole thing about Chi, for the character. She automatically learns everything. Right from the start, she does everything perfect right away. Literally, when she's a little girl, literally when she was like what, maybe a few years old, she knows everything. She knows kung fu. She knows how to sword fight. Literally everything. She's like the smartest kid in town. This is definitely the definition of a Mary Sue right from the bat. And so again, I don't mind having female character as a strong, but to some degree that kind of goes against the film because she's a strong woman. She's a strong woman. She's a strong woman. She's a strong woman. That's all there is to the character, really.
Say, she's a very strong woman. That she is.
Yeah, that's literally all her entire character is. It's just that. No more, no less. Literally.
So with that, let me turn over the floor to our new vice principal, Strong Woman.
She's strong. She's strong. She's strong. She's strong. She's strong. They basically turned her into Captain Mara in that regard because she's strong. She's strong. She's strong. She's strong. Okay, I get it. Alright. But if you decide to have her show some cleavage, God forbid if you do that because she is a woman after all, right? If you do that, I know a lot of people would just pretty much get mad and just try to get pretty angry. Which I'm pretty sure they would. Just, oh, how dare you disrespect a woman. And people are already flipping out just because there's some lingerie based on the Disney princess characters. Yeah, they're already complaining about that kind of a thing. I mean, come on, really, folks? Really? It's type of pity stuff. And I know some people would just tell me that they want diversity in a movie, and whatnot. Okay. Have diversity in mainstream media. Alright. But when Dragon Age does just that, you accuse it for being whitewashing. Doesn't make any sense. When something actually doesn't, whatever. But again, I got nothing against a woman being the main character in a movie or whatever. I'm perfectly fine with that. If she's from a different country, fine, that's fine too. But I take issue is that there's literally nothing more to her personality than her strength. Then she's strong. That she's strong, that she's strong, that she's strong. Yeah, she's brave, she's courageous. Just because you add words like that doesn't mean that she's a well-rounded character, like, at all. Man, this just doesn't make any sense, really. So, yeah, I'm just saying, folks, come on. To be perfectly clear, I'm not saying she's a man-hating woman that wants to murder every single male character in the movie. She's far from that. I'm not saying that she is. But my point is there's there's not much of a personality really. Like it's barely there. And throughout the entire movie she's like one dimensional. And that's it really. There's not much to the character at all. Other than that she's strong. Oh boy. And just no, folks. I did not like what they were doing with this movie at all. I did not like it at all, folks. It was bad. It was really bad. Oh man. Oh yeah, and also I'm pretty sure a lot of you people who are watching this video remember this character and the other character. These two, they're they're not in the movie. Nope, they're not in this version because I don't know reasons. So they were replaced by this woman who's like a shapeshifter. She turns into like a bird or whatever and back to a woman because the movie said so, I guess. So I'm guessing they took some inspiration from this character, yeah, the bird that the bad guy had. I guess. I mean, that seems kind of stupid, really, when I think about it. But okay. Yeah, I mean, this entire film seemed very, very unnecessary. I mean, okay, I've said it before. I've always disliked remakes. I dislike all remakes. I'm not just gonna go after Disney. Yeah, like Disney and all. Of course, I really do like Disney, but that doesn't mean I can't criticize it. So I'm not saying Disney is losing its magic. That's far from what I'm saying. It's just that they're taking the lazy route. Is all I'm saying. They're taking the really really lazy route. They already know that a lot of people are familiar with Mulan, and that's it. They're just making money off of that and nothing else. They know that the Mulan, the original one, was really popular. It's really really popular and whatnot. That's why they made Mulan 2, which honestly it wasn't very good, like at all. I mean, it was mediocre at best, I guess, but still really bad compared to the original film. So, okay, yeah, Mulan 2 got a lot of bad reviews. So you mean to tell me instead of just making a third part, you just remade it instead? It seems like a waste of resources when you think about it. It seems like a lot of waste of resources where you can actually make a third film instead. So you're gonna reboot this entire thing just because you want to make money off of nostalgia, and also because the second film in the franchise got a lot of bad reviews. It doesn't make any sense. Seems, yeah, like I said, it's stupid because it's lazy. You mean to tell me that you don't want to come up with something more original, something more different, and you just want to just recycle what was already done? I mean, do I really have to talk about the plot? It's basically the same movie. In a nutshell, it's the same movie. It was so unneeded, folks. If anything, at the end of the day, I was extremely bored. Man, I was really, really bored throughout the entire thing. It has the same exact problem as the other live-action remakes of Disney films that I've already reviewed. Okay, like I said, it has the overall idea. It has the basic idea from the animated feature, but they just stretch it for roughly 2 hours. So, if anything, it feels really, really padded. There's so much padding in this movie, really. And so at times, it felt really, slow. And okay, not as fast paced as it should have been. But another thing that gets me from this movie is that a lot of the important plot points from the original film, well, they rushed through those parts. They really schemed through them, and then the really unnecessary parts, it felt really slow. So yeah, in some ways the pacing wasn't really good as a result of this. Oh boy, folks, I'm about 10 minutes into this long rant, and I haven't even talked about the plot already. See, that's what I'm talking about. There's so many problems with this movie. There's a lot of problems with this film. Oh boy. Just, again, thanks for anybody for watching. I appreciate anybody for actually watching it throughout the entire thing, so I really do appreciate it, because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. There's plenty of stuff I do want to talk about, folks. I really, really do. There's plenty. Anyway, whatever, whatever, whatever. Okay, in its saving grace, Mulan is not the worst live-action remake I've seen. So, I guess, kudos to you, I guess. Points for you, I suppose. I would say that if this film is a lot better than the two Cinderella remakes, especially the more recent one that Disney did. Yeah, those were terrible. Especially the more recent remake of Cinderella. That one just came out, it really rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, they all did. All these films do. When it comes to remakes. Because they're just trying to add stuff, which is not really needed. Keep changing stuff, and add stuff, and change some more. Seems stupid. It really is really stupid. And I can also say it was definitely had more action, had more going for it than the Beauty and the Beast remake. So I guess it's more competently made than those films. And yes, I would even go as far as say it's definitely better than the Dumbo remake, because that one was even more boring in a lot of ways. But yeah, somehow Mulan manages to be worse in some ways too. But it was definitely on par with the god awfulness of Aladdin as well. So yeah, I guess give or take some points from that. I guess I suppose. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's unnecessary. I mean, the entire thing is unnecessary when I think about it. But I just want to go into detail and explain what's wrong with this movie. So there was that, folks. Yes, it's not available on Disney Plus, and it's also available for home video and also digital download as well. So if anyone wants to check out this movie anyway, I would say check it out if you want. Sure. If you want to see for your own two eyes and not just take my word for it, if you want to do that, be my guest, folks. I'm just letting you know it is now available on Disney Plus. But if you don't have Disney Plus, that's fine. Like I said, just pick up the DVD, Blu-ray. I know there's also the digital download as well. So, point is, there's options. There are options. If you want to check this film out anyway, regardless of the fact I'm giving this a really, really negative review, at least it was that. I can just check it out if you want, folks. I'm just letting you know. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh boy. Alright, it's been long enough, I guess. As always, let's talk about the plot of this movie. Even though it's basically overall the same thing, I guess I'll just bring up the original Mulan and the remake, because overall it's the same basic idea. Yes, you can see Mulan as a young woman, of course. That's still there. She's adventurous, of course. She wants to learn, that's still there. And the fact that, the army needs more men, that's still there. It could be your grandson, that's still there. It could be maybe somebody's son, that's still there. So, of course, Mulan's father wants to basically take the role of this, of course. And just like in the original, the father character can't walk all that well. He needs crutches or something. That's still there in some ways, of course. And he wants to do this for honor. That's still there. But of course, in secret, she She goes into the army. Of course, that's still there. And of course, everybody buys the fact that, okay, there you go. Yeah, she's a boy. That's still there. And yeah, a lot of the elements from the original are still there. So that's a major problem with me, folks, because in some ways it just feels it's copy and paste, and it's very very copy and paste. However, what makes this even more insulting is the execution. Yep, it's the execution of it that makes it more insulting. And yeah, it's less interesting in this one compared to the original. The original film was a lot shorter. It did not need to be roughly 3 hours. Keeping it a lot shorter is sometimes better, and it's definitely is the case here. It did not need to be roughly like 2, 3, 4 hours. Sometimes, I mean, I don't mind watching long films. Don't get me wrong, I'm fine with lengthy movies. For crying out loud, I do have the extended version of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which I actually did review a while back, folks. Yeah, I reviewed this series of films a good while back, and they were, and still are, great films to this very day. But that doesn't mean every single movie out there needs to be roughly around 4 hours. And that's how long this film felt. Jeez Louise. Ugh, crying out. I know it's supposed to take place in a certain period of time in China, where Mulan is this adventurous and active young woman, and she's pretty much disappointment of her parents, and they do hope that one day she would get a new husband and whatnot. So, okay, that seems a lot of pressure for her. And yeah, and they talk about this whole chi thing, which is fine. Saying a moment ago with the whole chi thing, yes, it's supposed to be like this magical power or whatever, which I have to say is seems like a cheap plot device from the get-go, because it had this strength and the whole happy ending and whatnot. None of this feels earned. I mean, granted, you can have a character go through a bunch of struggles and still have a lack of character development. And that's the problem with Mulan, is Mulan herself. She has zero character development in this version, in the rebooted Mulan. She feels like she has zero character development. I know she's supposed to have all these emotions and whatnot, but like I said, it never feels earned. It's never feels like it's supposed to be like it was in the original. And it just feels lazy. The way they did it, just really, really lazy. They could have easily done another Mulan movie. But of course, they want to you know, waste their resources on making this film. They know a lot of people are gonna watch it. They know a lot of people are gonna check this film out just because it's Mulan. Just because of the name. This film was done just for namesake, and that's it. Not because they have a great story to tell, not because they have passion, not because they have a vision they want to make. So no. If anything, this film feels like it was cranked out. They quickly made this film just because they just want to cash in on the popularity of the first movie. While making money in the film industry isn't in itself a bad thing. I'm not saying that. I do believe that every single company in the world does have the right to make money. So I'm not criticizing Disney for wanting to make money. Just to make that clear. What I'm criticizing them is that it's the motivation behind wanting to make this money from this movie. Why can't they just come up with something original? Some people may wonder. Well, easy. Because there's an easy way to answer that question, because it's too much risk taking. It's too much of a risk to take. I know when you think about it, I even said this like multiple times before. Making a movie is a gamble. It's definitely a big gamble. And come up with something more original, more different than what was done previously from what they were doing with the princess movies is too much of a risk. Well, at the very least, it's too much of a risk they don't want to, take. Which I find kind of odd when you think about it. Okay, think about the original Mulan. Was anybody asking for that movie? No. Was anybody demanding to make that movie? No. The original Mulan was a risk. Nobody would have cared if they made it or not, but now they made the original Mulan. The original Mulan film became one of the biggest successes, and that film was praised of having a Chinese character as the lead. The original Mulan was a risk, but now it just seems awfully lazy because they're remaking something that has already been done. So the story of Mulan is already cliched because they've already done it. Well, their version of the story anyway. So why can't they have just a different story? It's because it is gambling too much. They know that people are going to see it just because of the name, and they were right. It did make quite a bit of money, and that's because a lot of people are already familiar with the original movie, and it just seems like a really, really shallow way to do it. And it's not very creative. Of course, it's not very creative. For the most part, folks, I guess you can say it's just really boring. It's just really boring, folks, overall. So yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, my name is Rick. Yeah, I'm Rick, man.
Ah, great. It's this guy again. You really, Rick? Leave me alone.
Come on, this is a classic. It's one of the best movies ever. Yeah.
Stop hacking into my live feed. It's getting really old.
Oh, come on now. You should enjoy this movie.
What are you, an incel? Get a life.
You have to see the brilliance, man. Come on.
Man, whatever, simp.
Shit. Watch it again.
You're a waste of steam, and you realize that, right?
Come on. You have to agree with me. If I like it, you must like it too, man. Okay?
You're a crackhead, aren't you? Seriously, leave me alone. Stop rambling on.
Don't make me go there and kick your ass.
Yak, 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 yak. That's all you're doing.
Ah. Stop being so hard-headed, man. You must like it.
Go prostitute yourself behind slavery or something. At least that would be a better use of your time.
What are you talking about? You must like it. Enjoy the movie.
Get a job.
You have to see how...
This guy's making this experience more miserable.
Rich and complex the storytelling is, man.
What's wrong with your voice? You smoke too many cigarettes or something?
It's grand, it's bold, courageous.
Lay off the cigarettes. You sound weird.
It's so brilliant. Yeah.
Lay off the crack while you're at it. Alright, let's try to wrap this video up. It's pretty lengthy as it is. Even if I want to judge this film on its own merits, it's still very cliched. Of course, they're going to show Mulan as a little kid, which I think in some ways seems a bit cheap, if you ask me. Because one of the most easiest ways to have the audience be attached to a character, especially the main character, hey, show them as little kids, because kids are adorable and whatnot. So come on now. And it really starts to fall apart when she's in the army. I mean, come on. It's pretty obvious that she's a girl. I'm trying to be a boy. It's pretty obvious that she's pretending. I mean, okay, I get it. They're trying to mimic the sequence where she meets up with everybody, and they do like a poor imitation of this. It's trying to be funny like it was an animated movie. Yeah, it tries to do an exact repeat to some degree, but it's not funny. None of it's funny. Like, I don't know, it fails to be funny. And when that one scene in the film, okay, look, again, it's pretty obvious she's a girl pretending to be a boy, whatever. And remember the one scene where she's trying to make a fake-ass name right off the bat, out of the blue with the help of Mushu, just like in the spur of the moment. Yeah, they're actually trying to repeat that here. But it's not as witty, it's not as clever at all. It just comes out, just bad writing. This movie has bad writing, folks. And again, how is it that nobody was able to tell that she was pretending to be a boy? I mean, really? Come on. And another thing is that I'm pretty sure a lot of people remember that one sequence where, you know, the song I'll Make a Man Out of You, which was one of the most memorable songs ever. Nope, it's not in this movie. They kind of do a version of that sequence, sort of, just without the music, I guess, the music aspect of it, but just it's done dumb. It's done in a dumb way. Oh yeah, and speaking of music, you know, the one song right in the beginning of the film, you know, that one song that a lot of people seem to like, which sings to herself, you know, about reflections and all that, you know, honor, all that. Yep, all of that is gone. They removed all of that music from the original film. It's not in here, so it's not a musical. Come on, it's a Disney flick. It's a Disney princess movie. I mean, they do have the whole makeup thing going on, I guess, in the beginning of the film. So there's that going on, I suppose. But ultimately, it just felt like, okay, they just quickly put this thing together. And, okay, the one comment, the one good compliment I can give this movie, it looks nice. It looks really, really beautifully choreographed, folks. The scenery and everything, it looks stunning, folks. That's one thing I definitely give the movie for. It looks really, really stunning. It's probably one of the most beautiful shot live action films of Disney that they made. I mean, it looks really nice. I mean, wow, everything looks in frame. It was not an amateur hour, at least in that regard. It looks really nice. That's for sure. I'll give it that, folks. I'll give it that. Oh, yeah, and there was a whole bit about the Phoenix, or whatever. If you go down, you come right back up stronger than you before. Yada yada yada. Yeah, there was a whole bit about the Phoenix, or whatever. But I really don't care. I don't care. I really do not care. Because it just felt like they weren't trying that hard. And if they were trying that hard, it didn't come off genuine, really, like, at all. At the end of the day, the reboot, Mulan, just came off like a pale imitation of the original. It felt like it was cloned. That's how I took it. It was as if it was cloned or something. So yeah, folks, this was definitely a massive disappointment in so many ways. Oh boy. And again, I have to say thank you for anybody that's actually watching this video. My long videos. It's long enough to be a movie in itself. But okay, whatever. So yeah, there's still quite a bit I have to talk about, folks. There's still quite a bit I have to mention. There's so much wrong in this movie. There's so much wrong. This is probably one of the most disappointing films that they made so far. The original Mulan was a very important movie. It's a very important film in many ways. It definitely can show that you can have an Asian princess and whatnot. This definitely opened the door for at least the people from, you know, over Asia. Could easily have a Japanese princess, could have a Thai princess, could have a Philippine princess, and so on and so forth. You know, there's plenty of opportunities for that. Even have had uh, an Indian princess. Yeah, it's Asian. Look it up, you fuck, if you don't believe me. Anyway, so yeah, could have had that, and of course, could have had even a Korean princess. Okay, let me see what else. Okay, yeah. Could have plenty of princesses out there from Asia. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, when I say a lot of folks, I do mean a lot of areas. There's some places could have had an Asian princess. I'm not going to list off every single Asian place, but you get the picture. They could have easily had a princess character from any of these one areas. If they really want to have another princess from this kind of place, it would have been fine, of course, obviously. But it just comes off like they didn't want to risk it. Because like I was saying earlier, making movies is basically a gamble. Even if you made a good movie, that's still not a guaranteed for it to be successful. It happens. Good movies making a lot of money. It happens. Unfortunately, great movies can make money. I'm not saying they can't, folks. Even bad movies can make a lot of money. So, yeah, this made a pretty decent profit, I guess. Anyway, nonetheless, it's not very good, but the Disney remakes, live-action films, for the most part, did make quite a bit of money. Again, I'm not saying it's impossible for a good movie to be made and make a lot of money. I'm not saying they can't. Film Office Space is a really good movie, and it did have a cult following. Unfortunately, it did really bad at the box office. At least on the bright side, it did make it up for the home release sales, so I guess that's something. You know, with the physical copies and whatnot, the Blu-ray, DVDs, and all that. But I mean, there were other movies, other good movies like the sequel to Star Wars trilogy. Yeah, I said they were good. So what? Those films did financially well. I mean, really, really well. But the critical response for those films were mostly negative, even though they were nowhere near that bad, really. So it's just kind of weird how this whole film industry works when you think about it. So yeah, there's that. Really, really crazy. I do find it rather odd to keep saying that the Disney films of Star Wars keep repeating the same story. I mean, what? I mean, it came from the lore, at least most of it anyway. And a lot of those stories repeat the same plot line over and over and over again. You didn't seem to complain then. And Disney seems to be adding to its own canon too, as well, I guess. A few new characters here and there throughout the entire thing. And okay, whatever, because there seems to be like a slight detour. But anyway, like I was saying, yeah, it's crazy that how this film industry would work, I guess. So, yeah, this can happen with any studio, regardless of, who they belong to. It happens. So, yeah, there's no real soul for this, folks. It's soulless. It just came out like it was just made just to make a quick buck. Well, it worked. It did pretty well, despite the whole pandemic thing. It did fairly well. I mean, what's the whole point? I mean, because Mulan 2 was bad, I mean, it's pretty okay on a good day, I guess, but still was very good. I mean, when you think about it, this is like a common trend I seem to notice. If something started off good, but then there's like a bunch of bad sequels that came out of it, they tend to want to reboot it because of that. So, as if to fix up the problem. I mean, this doesn't apply to every single movie that has a bunch of bad sequels, but that's like a trend I noticed. They will make maybe one bad sequel, then that's like really awful, then follow it by with another bad sequel as if to trying to fix it up, I guess. But yeah, that's what I noticed when it comes to movies that has like a lot of bad sequels, even if just one bad sequel. They were trying to do like another movie as a way to fix it, at least attempt to fix it anyway. The problems that the previous film installed had made, only to make it worse than before. And things keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse until they just completely stop or just reboot the entire thing. So yeah, this seems to be like a common thing I seem to notice when it comes to these movies, just any movie. Every studio is guilty of this, of course, unfortunately. But it can't be in any genre or live action or whatever. It's just something I noticed. They're trying to fix up the problems from the previous film in order to make it worse in the next film or whatever. But come on, is that what it is? Is that so? This film was trying to fix up the problems of the Mulan 2 movie. Is that what it was? I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense no matter how you want to slice and dice it. Like I said, every studio is guilty of doing this kind of a thing. And I get that you want to have a good reputation of your said movie or movies, and you want every installment to be good. Wanting to have every installment to be good is not a bad thing. But usually these movies are terrible because they were never planned to begin with. So that seems to be the usual thing here, folks. Another thing I want to bring up is the actress who played Mulan in the live action version. But this by no means trying to, bring harm to her. I'm not trying to badmouth her or any kind of way. I mean, she seems to be doing okay anyway. But the thing is recently, at least in timing when I'm recording this video anyway, there's some controversy, of course, surrounding this actress because she said something about Muslims being converted. Oh, it's okay if you convert to the Muslim faith. Yeah, the actress got some heat just because she said it's perfectly okay, or whatever. But I mean, seriously. I mean, even if she was against it, she'll get some heat anyway. But one thing I don't get is that really, even if she's for it, she still got some heat anyway because people like Kevin Swanson would say that you should be converted to the Christian faith. They would act as though that you should go and believe in God. I mean, their version of God. And yeah, do that. Go ahead. And if the actress said it's perfectly okay to accept God and whatnot, everybody would have just praised her. Seriously? And you getting on her case about the whole Muslim thing? What? Are you serious? Just, I mean, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's like cherry picking in some ways. Yeah, do one thing but don't do the other. You guilty of, yeah, this has been really stupid if you act. I mean, really, you're gonna really get on a case for that? It just doesn't make any sense, is what I'm saying. It makes really, just, I don't know, it makes no sense at all. One other thing I found extremely confusing and also very hypocritical as well, fan base of Disney itself. A lot of these people seem to complain that the character of Rey is a Mary Sue, which she isn't because she has made a lot of mistakes throughout the entire film. And the thing is that when it comes to Mulan, in this version anyway, she does everything perfect all the time, right from the start. And the audiences seem to be applauding that character for being, oh, female empowerment. Yay. I mean, are you serious? I mean, really? This just seems really stupid, as far as I'm concerned. And everybody seems to complain about Dragon Age. Yeah, when they finally show diversity in a video game, everybody accuse it for whitewashing. Really? Yeah, seriously, come on. Again, just seems really stupid. Yeah, the film industry can be just as crazy as the video game industry. So, yeah, when these films will try to show diversity, sometimes it'll act as though that's all there is to the character. Mulan is just powerful because she's a woman. There's really not much to the character than being a woman, really. Again, I know I said this already, like, way earlier. I don't mind female empowerment, but there needs to be more to the character than her gender. And there needs to be more to the character than her ethnic background. She needs to feel like an actual person, and that's another big problem I have with this film. The character does not feel real. She does not feel like she could have actually existed in this world that they made. So the writing is really bad in here, folks. The writing is really awful. And I mean, not that I was expecting anything Shakespearean or anything, folks. It's just how the character was written. In the way that she's just there just to push the plot along. Really, that's it. What if she was one of those princesses that was like maybe, let's say, depressed, and she doesn't want to do anything all day. Maybe she just wants to sleep and eat, and that's it. And what then? What if Mulan was a depressed princess? And what then? Just comes off like, a lot of people go through a lot of stress in their lives for various reasons. And a lot of people go through stress in their life maybe because of financial situation that really got to them, or maybe they got out of a bad relationship and whatnot. There needs to, maybe wants to get into a relationship but can't because maybe the said character could have trouble opening up with people. This kind of stuff is what I'm talking about. There needs to be more to the character than her ethnic background and besides her gender. So, yeah, it just comes off like obviously lazy. And, yeah, this seems kind of weird that Disney's just trying to write this off like she's a powerful woman. And that's it. There is no more to the character than just that. I'm fine with having female characters from various nations and whatnot, showing that they can be just as strong as everyone else. That's fine. If you want to do that, be my guest. Go ahead. It's just the way it was written, just the way the character was written in this movie, it was just poorly done. She's the same person as from the beginning to the movie to the very end. So, a lot of ways it didn't feel like it was supposed to be earned, at least not naturally earned anyway. It just felt like it was just forced in a lot of ways. Long character just feels extremely shallow of a character overall. There's nothing much to her, like an empty shell of the original version. There's no emotion, no personality, nothing at all really. So a lot of the stuff that made the original Mulan great are completely absent from this version. The original Mulan was emotional, was moving in a lot of ways. However, in the reboot version, there was I don't care. I felt nothing, nothing at all. This version of Mulan just came off so bland. You could have just given her a completely different name, and it wouldn't make much of a difference, really, like at all. Now, of course, it's already bad enough that they made the lovable characters like Mushu be gone and whatnot. Some people might tell me that maybe they're trying to make the film more realistic, which is bogus. How can you make it really realistic when you have a female character that changed, that morphs into a bird and back to a human? I don't get it. So, yeah, and then that's the whole Phoenix thing I was telling you about earlier. Yeah, you're trying to have, I guess, make it special, but it has nothing to do with the plot, really. Mushu, the little dragon, actually had something to the plot. But the whole Phoenix thing doesn't really add much to the overall story, really. It just shows up from here and there. So, yeah, I didn't like that either. So, it just came off like utterly pointless. So, those things were also really poorly written as well. So, give me a break here. I didn't like I know they're trying to make her seem like, okay, she could be like the Phoenix. If she gets beat up or if she loses a fight or whatever, she can get right back out on her feet and keep fighting anyway. I see what they're trying to do with the whole Phoenix thing on Mulan. I get it. I see what they're trying to do. My complaint is the execution of that idea that made it horrible. It's the execution of it, really, when you think about it. So, yeah. And, yeah, it's just, the whole thing just comes off really weird, folks. In the sense that the action sequences were pretty bad. Yeah, the action sequences did not seem like very good, really. Yeah, they even failed the action sequences as well. People complain about the action sequences in Taken 2 for being really, really sloppy. I mean, okay, I didn't think they were that bad when it comes to the action sequences. They were pretty well done in a lot of ways. They weren't that sloppy as they would say it was. I thought that film was actually pretty solid. I mean, okay, it's no Citizen Kane or anything, but I still found it pretty solid. Okay, anyway. Yeah, the action sequences in Mulan weren't particularly great, really, like, at all. Another thing I want to point out that I don't get it. I really don't understand some of this stuff here. Yeah, people get mad. People get mad at Disney because they claim that the Star Wars sequel trilogy keeps recycling the same story over and 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 over again and again and again and again. Yet, when it comes to this movie, it's like the reaction is completely different, like the other way around. And yeah, they praise the movie. What? Even though it's basically the same exact story from the original film, but that movie gets a pass. I don't get it. It's just really confusing. I really don't like this at all because it doesn't make any sense. It really does not make any sense. So I find this kind of thing really confusing. Ah, damn it! It's Mr. Monkey. How many times do I have to tell you? I'm not gonna buy you this god awful movies, man. You have shit taste in movies. You really, really do. There you go. Whatever. Anyway. Well, yes, I understand that the movie industry is a business, and that's what they're doing, just trying to make a lot of money, and just trying to feed their families, pay the bills, and whatnot, pay the mortgage off, pay off maybe the car loan or student loan or whatever it might be. So, I get that. So it's just that this could have been so much more than what it was. Yes, I know this was based on some folklore for the person named Mulan and whatnot. And, I mean, yes, okay, I was not expecting this movie to be 100% faithful to its source material or whatever. I was not expecting that. So, the thing is that if they really want to have a good film based on the Chinese history, they could have done a lot more than what it was done here, folks. Yeah, I know this was supposed to be a drama and whatnot, and in a lot of ways, you guys can say consider this as a drama movie, which I don't mind really, if it was done more properly, really. So, and I know there's a lot of people, there's a lot of Disney fans who are not familiar with the Chinese culture, its history, and whatnot. This could have been a great way to introduce them to something that they're not familiar with, something that they don't look into every day, really. So, if anything, this was nothing more than a missed opportunity in that regard. I would have made a third Mulan film instead of rebooting it, but maybe that's just me, I guess. But yeah, I think I would have just done uh, a third Mulan movie instead, folks. It was up to me, really. But that's just me, then. That's just me, folks. I just don't get as to why there was an excessive need to just keep remaking everything. Well, but then again, I just answered my own question earlier. Money. Money, 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 money. So these movies, these live action remakes do quite well when you think about it because they're making a lot of cash based on nostalgia. They know a lot of people are familiar with these films when they were much younger, and I know I get it. This is a business practice that they'll keep doing. I get it. That they want to make money, they want to keep their business going. So, I get that. But that doesn't mean I agree with it. That doesn't mean I think they should continue. I often said I don't like remakes to begin with. I never liked remakes. I never did. I never liked remakes. Doesn't matter what studio is making this. I never liked remakes at all. And I never ever will. Emotional level, felt nothing. There was nothing there really. Didn't feel nothing at all, sad to say. So the film didn't really have any of the charm from the original. Of course, it didn't have what it could have been. I guess I didn't like nothing about this film. Okay, like I said, it looked nice. I'll give it that. It looked really, really nice. That's probably the best thing I say about this film. It looked really nice. So yeah, I can definitely say that. And the thing is that, folks, is I know I keep on complaining about the main character. The main character, of course, is Mulan. I know I don't keep picking on the main character, but I'm gonna do it again. The thing is that she came off way too perfect than she should be. She's way, way too perfect. She never learned about any mistakes. She never learned anything. There's literally no character development for Mulan. You don't have to make the character be perfect. Just because the character is perfect doesn't mean it makes it less human. Is what I'm saying. Just because you have to make the character feel vulnerable, you have to make the character be flawed. Just because the character is flawed does not mean the character is sexist. It doesn't scream sexism. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people want to make the female characters to be absolutely perfect all the time as a way for female empowerment. That's making a character practically indestructible is not female empowerment. And there's nothing wrong with making a vulnerable, flawed female lead. Those different ways you can express the character's strength rather than just going around beating up people. You don't have to show a bunch of fight scenes to show the character, in a strong female lead. Maybe she made a mistake, and owning up to your mistakes is a strength. Asking for forgiveness is a strength. The fact that you make a mistake is in itself can be proven to be a way to show growth. You don't have to make the character super perfect in order to make the character be related to women. You can still make the character flawed, vulnerable, have the character make mistakes, and still have the character be for strong female characters. You can still have female involvement in a positive way, even if the character made mistakes.